Welcome all. I see that some of us are joining as we speak on this lovely day. Brilliant. So let's do a quick check in to see which part of the world you're dialing in from. In the chat window, you will find panelists and attendees. So if you have any questions, you can drop them in. So drop in the chat window, please. Where are you dialing in from? Okay. We got Baji from India. We got Yasmin from Toronto. Hi, Andrew. We got a few people from London. Hi, Andrew. I'm from Hayes and Harlington. I'm from West London. It's nice meeting you. We got a few people, Priya. We got Tahira from Baku. Fantastic. Brilliant. I know it's time for us to kick off the session. I got a special guest with me. His name is Ranjiv, Colonel Ranjiv K. Babu. It was a last minute change. We had a really interesting discussion on this topic about extending agility to business. And the discussion went into, okay, Krishna, we extend it. So, what are the things? What are the roles and responsibilities? What are the skills? What are the tools the people who will be doing those actions do they need? And we went into a discussion. Krishna, there's also a public enemy number one. I was like, what? It was like, let's discuss about it. Let's explore this topic with our participants, with the people who we care for, and the wisdom of the crowd, and see what do they think. So let me share my screen. Um, okay. Uh, Good. This way, I should be able to see my chat as well. We have one of our colleagues in the organization. Her name is Chitra. She is monitoring the chat. If I miss any questions, at times when the chat it happens, I do miss. So we have a specialist who's helping me, Chitra, one of my colleagues, and we are here to go through the journey with you. And our prime objective as Leadership Tribe, we work with various organizations supporting various roles. What do you mean by that? We help organizations, which means we work at the team level, at the individual, at the business unit, at the enterprise level. So, at the individual level, helping the person to grow not only personally as well as professionally in a way which is helping the teams come together to drive some value. If the teams are delivering value, the business units are successful. If the business units are successful, the enterprise is also successful. So we work in all these areas. At times, we call in some specialists. For example, I will be introducing some of the specialists we have. The intent is all the specialists, we work in various organizations, various domains. We are learning and growing from each other, and we are bringing our wisdom back to the table. Whatever we experimented, whatever we learned, we are bringing it back in the form of webinars, so we can all grow together. And some of the change agents we work with and who we is one of them is me. I'm a chief storyteller working in the for Leadership Tribe. We have Lindy, Colonel Ranjiv K. Babu. It's been nearly 5 years. I've been in one of those sessions learning about neurolinguistic programming where we're trying to use different tools, exploring the different topics, and suddenly you hear a voice and the atmosphere, the energy in the room gets lifted up with the questions this person was posing. And after that, learned a little bit more about Colonel Ranjiv, and what I've learned about him was extraordinary. He's a combat helicopter pilot. He commanded a special forces unit where he worked at the tactical level, at the team level, at the operational level, at the business units, and the strategic level at the enterprise. So we'll be looking at, he'll be sharing some of his skills and knowledge and experiences working in a highly controlled environment, highly regulated environment. And now he's working as an enterprise leader and a change agent. What are the things he is applying in right now which resonates with his past world? And is there lessons learned we can, is there something we can draw some lessons from his past experience and see what we can take from there? Okay, that's about Ranjiv. Teme, a Kanban specialist, Ming, she is a leadership coach and a life coach working together. This is about us. If you want to reach out to them, you can reach out to them on LinkedIn, or you can drop a note to hello at Leadership Tribe with a subject who you want to talk to. So they will get in touch with you. Good. So a bit about the Zoom. Some people call it a social contract or a manifesto. We have a little Zoom manifesto. So we want to learn together. If you want to use the chat to reply, use the panelists and the attendees. And most of the chat, my colleagues are dropping the notes in the panelists and attendees for any information. We have a Q&A session. So me and Colonel will be working together, picking up questions, and I'll be answering them. We'll be more than happy to see if we can answer some of them because our timeline is very short. We have to cherry pick. And for some of the questions which have not been answered, you can join us for some of our upcoming webinars. We have a huge list of people joining us, some specialists who are brought in from various industries who we work with as well. Good. So there is a little bit, this is about the webinar. So what are we going to deliver in the webinar? This is the intent we have. So why do we need these enterprise coaches or leaders? What is the purpose they serve? Okay, we also have, we need to extend the agility. These are the people who are extending the agility to the business. Okay, so how do we extend the agility if we need to? Why do we need to extend in the first place? So these are the questions we have. We're going to explore them. So, okay, we understand we need to do something. So, what are the skills, tools, and what actions you can take? And as I explained to you, Ranjiv also is going to share about his experiences, his knowledge, and his faculty experience as a at the Behavioral Sciences College of Defense Management. So, what are the concepts he has taught his team in various missions? We will be drawing some of those knowledge as well. And yes, he does have a big secret. So, let me stop there. Let me do a quick check-in. Is this okay? Can you do a quick check-in to say in the chat window, please? I should be fine. Okay, seems okay. Brilliant. Okay, so the first question I have is why extending agility to business? Why? Let's do a small poll. So, why do we extend agility to enterprises? So we got some options. Use your finger, whatever it is you have to answer this. So you got another 30 more seconds. Okay, we are getting some answers. Let me end the poll. So we have these answers. One, some of them we got 2% said they are here to solve. We are here to solve the problems. We extended to solve some problems, or we want to create an opportunity. Most of us said 7% have said we're going to increase the economic value, and some of us said all the above. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is brilliant. So Let's look at what is happening today. In the 20th century, as consumers, as customers, they, including me, we used to go around the companies, the organization. These organizations, I still remember my dad getting a spare part for a scooter, Lambretta, where he had to make a trunk call and wait for a product to be delivered to him 6 months later. That's in the 20th century. In the 21st century, I take my mobile phone, order something, I can get it delivered within 24 hours or sometimes within the same week. How many of you observed that? How many of you done a delivery in less than 24 hours? Type in the chat window, please. It's interesting how world is changing. How world is changing. Because if we do look at it, because there's a lot of globalization, deregulation, knowledge work, internet, wow, things have increased exponentially. Environmental threats, yes, we have global warming. There are some things which is impacting us. There is also an element of terrorism. COVID, wow. So how many of you feel that COVID was one of the biggest threat we have seen in the last decade? Type in your answers. Yes or no should be fine. So we are seeing these reasons. We are seeing these reasons. And some of them, if you do look at that, we have a great competition. We have, if you look at competitors trying to take each other's share from the market, people, organizations coming using blue ocean strategy to come up with new products. We are having a faster page. We are trying to digitalize everything so we can have all the answers on your fingertip. Yes, we do believe customer is the king. We always look at the customer problems. We accept it. But Krishna, also me, I also have a question for everybody. To make the customer happy, I strongly believe in building happy teams. Happy teams, they build great products. Great products make delighted customers. Delighted customers, they give more problems to the teams to solve. And it's a cycle of evolution. So is customer always the king? I'm not sure. But there are few variables you need to consider. This is the facts. We are not trying to glamorize what is not there. This is what we are seeing. Data. I believe in data. What else we can look at? There are 52% of the Fortune 500 companies that have disappeared since year 2000. That's 52%. This data pre-COVID. That's in 2017 from Harvard Business Review. With COVID, did it accelerate the way the companies are disappearing? You don't need to answer it. You all know. You all know. So we understand the reason why we need to pivot. We need to change. Okay, for us to change, what do we need to change? This is the question we have. What do we need to change to bring this or extend this business agility? Type in the chat window, please. Okay, we got mindset. What else we have? Oh, I love this. Mariam has ways of working, yep, mindset, traditional hierarchy structures, business best practices, management support and understanding, adaptation. Okay. Great answers. Culture and fear of failure, agility, pragmatic thinking, truth in leadership, continuous learning. Wow. I know some of these answers are coming straight to my straight to me personally. I see hundreds of people there. Okay, changing customer requirements. Yes, changing customer requirements. Yes, we need to do all this. On top of that, there are few more I would like to show. When we are trying to bring change in, we are looking at bringing change in the structures, what do you call about the business processes, the hierarchy structure, the way the information flows in the organization, the information radiators, the roles and responsibilities, the people, the processes, the technologies which we are using to reduce waste in the organization. At one time, I was working with a client where they had more than 900 to 1200 people to create a report for the shareholders, and it took them 6 months. They were using a human glue to gather data from different departments for that one report for the shareholders. Is there a way you can build or automate systems or processes where you can have on your fingertip? Is that agility? Maybe it is. So, how do you build in this kind of a mindset? What would that strategy look like? By working in these areas, we are looking at some of the outcomes. Ooh, let's look at some of the outcomes. Productivity gains. We want to make rapid decision making. We want to reduce the cost. And we want to deliver faster. We want to be better. We want to be cheaper. We want to have happier employees. Having happier employees, we are going to have ecstatic customers uh, using your amazing products. There is a great engagement of your employees as well as your end users, and you got better financial performance, great customer satisfaction. Wow, these are some of the things which we have seen. And on top of this, if you're able to bring that agility, what else can you see? Type it in the chat window, please. These are some of the answers. What else can you see if you're having that kind of an agility in the organization? Prolonged efficiency. We might hikes to internal employees. We got more salaries, reduce attrition, you sustain in the delivery. You might be kicking ass in the market. Look at Apple. How did they start and where are they right now? Amazon, look at their journey. Continuous innovation, future planning. When I see these challenges which are impacting the organizations, how they are able to maneuver in the market, these challenges, for me, they're like massive icebergs, which has made Titanic disappear. Instead of being on top of the ocean, it's up there somewhere. If an organization is not able to adapt and be flexible in the way they deliver value, it can be the next Titanic. It can be the next Titanic. What we are trying to do is instead of creating Titanics, we are creating an armada of ships able to adapt, maneuver when there are challenges. You don't need to go for a war, adapting, dancing around these environments to survive. So there are a few tips I would like to give you with respect to structure. Let's move forward. So when you're talking about the business structure, here you're trying to deal with allocating the workflow, the roles and responsibilities, the business workflows, the business processes, the structure. Preparing for enterprise agility, you need to have a flexible network of empowered employees to deliver that, to create that. So, for that, as a coach, as a leader, you need to give them the tools. The tools like what? What tools can you give to your team members to believe that flexible, adaptable team members? One of the them is to have one language, one vocabulary, one purpose. So these people, even though they're coming from different cultures, different backgrounds, different countries, come together to deliver some value. when they're trying to deliver some value so they can have the same vocabulary, giving them access to the tools, the mechanism to continue performing better. For that, you need to create the transparency. Whatever we are working, the business structure should be in such a way that there is transparency in the way we deliver, way we work, as well as when you have the transparency, you're giving them the tools for people to adapt, look, and identify the problems so they can adapt as well. One of the tools I call them is called the iceberg. One of them is called the iceberg. It's a tool, it's a system thinking tool. When we see issues happening in the organization, it can be at the tactical level, it can be at the team level, or at the business unit, or at the enterprise level. You see, when the issues are popping up, they're like mini icebergs. And do remember, they look like 90% of the iceberg is underwater. It's like seeing a shit floating on water. It's the same concept. One is an iceberg, one is a shitberg, whatever you want to call it. So when we see events, when we see something happening, we react, oh, we need to do something, we need to do something. That's it's a reactive leadership. Or the way the teams are going through, we need to pivot, we need to pivot. When these things are happening, if you can dig deeper, one of them is using the 5 eye analysis or trying to understand what is the patterns underneath it. What are the trends which we are seeing so that we can prepare or anticipate for them? Okay, we are seeing these trends. Let's dig deeper. What are the underlying structures? These structures which is influencing these kind of patterns. So that means we need to design maybe at the hierarchy. Maybe we need to design the workflows. Maybe we need to design the flow of information. Where is it going? How is it going? How quickly we are able to change? What is our cycle times of a business unit? Okay, trying to understand the design. Dig deeper. You will be able to understand the mental models of the people who created it, because some of these structures in the business processes, they might have been done 5, 10 years ago for a problem they had at that time. So now, are we looking at the same problems? Is a structure need to change? So if a structure needs to change, what is the right structure? How many layers of leadership can we have? Working with some organizations, I saw 17 layers of organization, 17 leaders between a CEO and a graduate in an organization. Some organizations they have 7, and some organizations they have flat. Okay, what is the right structure? So think about it. In your organization, what is the layers of structure do you have? Because of the structure, is the decision making becoming slower? So to make decisions, what kind of a structure do we need? Do we need to do something about it? So that's one area we can investigate. All right, we're not done yet. So next thing is the people. It's funny when we work with some organizations, I have seen I how many people do you need? I need 5 developers, I need 10 scientists, I need 6 people on this, I need 7 resources on this. Honestly, will it, if you're able to throw numbers of people on a project to deliver it, will it be, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. To find the right people for your team, you need to identify what is the problems we are trying to solve or the opportunities we are trying to create for your customer. It can be your internal customers or for anybody. Depending on the value you're delivering, you identify the skills and bring the right people to solve the problem. Okay, that's one way to bring it. We don't have the right people. What can we do? Can you train them? Can you mentor them? Can you coach them? So, what can you do here? These things, most companies, they do spend time in training. Of course, you send them for an agile training. You send them to people like me. I baptize in the name of Agile Scrum. They go back to work. Can you imagine that things can pick up overnight? So when you're trying new tools, sometimes we we make mistakes. We fail. We call, oh, we tried, we fail. It's like looking at a child who's learning to walk for the first time. A child, if you've seen a child walk for the first time, they stumble. They're trying to learn, they stumble. They stumble, they fall. Ah, just imagine the child thinks, I am unfit to walk on the planet. And if you and me have been that person, do you think we would be in here? I don't know. So you need to provide the ability to use the knowledge when you're trying. Things happen. So you need to be coaching, mentoring them, supporting them. At the same time, reinforcing by using data how well they are developing, how well they are developing. So you take a lot of involvement here, spend some time understanding what are the needs. These individuals are coming from various cultures, organizations, they're trying to form a team. Everyone has a need. Are those needs being met? Are those needs in line with the team's goals? So if the individual needs are met, can the team goals be met? Can we map it in that way? Yes. There are some tools you can use there. One of them is called OKRs, Objective with Key Results, where we have seen organizations map their vision to a story delivered by one team. How awesome is that? It's not only that, a graduate knows if I'm working on something, what is the value I'm able to deliver for my organization? Look at that awareness. That's amazing. Oh, these are all the nice, gooey stuff to have, Krishna. So, what's next? What should I do? So, what skills do you need? For example, skills means I can tell people, do it, do it, do it, do it. Or I can take a whip and say, that can also be done. Would those work for you? So there are some, as a facilitator, you will be bringing the people together, understanding the needs. Those are facilitation skills. To be a facilitator, you need to be a good listener, asking powerful questions, providing those observations. And there are some different kinds of change models, understanding the emotions of a human change. And the tactical part of bringing the organization change, there are change models like Adkar, where you're using the emotion of a human as well as from the tactical point of view. And there are various tools. What tools do you need to bring in for a specific problem? They've, because each problem will require their own tools. Remember that. Okay, so we spoke about the people, the process. In the name of Agile, we also know that individuals. Ooh, I forgot one of the basic Agile principles, the first one.
Individuals and interactions over processes and tools,
Oh,
Krishna.
Ranji, my friend, thank you very, very much. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Ah, embarrassment. Done now. So, what are the different practices and the processes? There's so many frameworks out there. Scrum, Safe, Kanban, Lean, Six Sigma, Scrum of Scrums. There is also a framework called Look at Other Frameworks. Look at Other Frameworks. So there are many frameworks out there. There are many frameworks out there. There are hundreds of practices, greater than 70. One of the practices, design thinking, understanding what does a customer need? What do they want to see? What do they want to feel? What do they want to hear? What are the pain points? What are the gains we are trying to do? These are the practices and the tools. One of them is called story mapping by Jeff Patton, a great tool invented by him. I love it. I use it to create a plan as well as a strategy. This is about the processes. There are many out there. Okay, when you have so many processes, what is the right process for me? So, depending on the problem, you need to adapt your process as well, which solves what you need at that moment of time. Their frameworks do not teach you how to facilitate. Some frameworks don't even talk about how do you measure what matters. They are not complete. They're only 80% complete. The 20% is the way you facilitate and the team come together so they can match and fit it for the problem they're trying to solve or the opportunity they're trying to create. That's about the processes and frameworks. There are various things. Okay, what do we need to do at the technology? Technology is a handy tool in achieving enterprise agility. Enterprise agility, when we looked at it, it's we need to adapt to changing market needs. We understand that because we live in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environments. It's called VUCA. A great example of VUCA is called COVID, which we are all experiencing. So, yes, we understand this. The organization need to be adaptable. When we have business processes or flows, there are hundreds of them. There will be a process for a business for a process as well, and you will have meetings for a meetings as well. I've seen that. So when you have various kinds of processes trying to deliver some sort of a value, is there a way we can reduce the cycle time? Because from point A to point B, we need to deliver that because some magic happens between these 2 points. How long does it take from point A to point B? Cycle time. Can we make it faster? Are there different tools? Can we automate it? Can we reduce the manpower? What can we use the latest technologies out there which can help us to be more secure to secure our digital assets? How can we bring in automation to understand our customer behaviors so we can predict what tools, what products or features they need? Look at Amazon. If you searched for any products and you did not put it in a shopping basket or you forgot about it, few days later, don't you get a simple reminder? You've seen this product, we got comparable products. Have you seen this product? It's in your shopping basket. What can we do? And this is all automated, helping the customer, nudging the customer to see, come on, buy. Have you seen that? Yes or no? Type it in the chat window. So these business processes can also help to change the customer behavior. It can add value by reducing the waste in your business processes. Or it can also add value in helping to grow your organization. And for that, these coaches or leaders, they need to have the mindset to understand what software craftsmanship is. How do we improve the quality? How do we reduce the cycle time? How can we automate some of the work we do? There are some amazing tools from software craftsmanship. What can we do here? From extreme programming, what can we learn? Continuous delivery, continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous validation of our products. What can we learn from that? There is an amazing case study from the North London. They were in North London, Enfield. There was a GP surgery. What they do is they during the COVID times or pre-COVID, they were trying to look at what times does the surgery become busy, what time does the patient come down, what are the skills or technologies they have, what are the specialist skills they have. So they were looking at one hospital and they'd taken an area and they used data analytics. So what they were doing was, if one hospital is getting busy, they were trying to do some load balancing in such a way that all the patients or the people who need help, they get the GP's time at the right time instead of waiting for hours or even days to meet a specialist. So they were doing load balancing. The simple concept. In technology, they used it as a strategy where they were helping patients to find where they can go, which hospital is free to go and see a doctor very quickly. What a beautiful idea! What a beautiful idea! That's we have seen that. And there was another article which was published in New Scientist. It was an interview with three ladies um, on on how to deliver the COVID vaccine. To deliver a vaccine, it takes 5 to 10 years because of the excessive processes we have with the government. Because there was already a vaccine there, and now they need to get the validation. They need the scientific data to see if it's safe enough to give it to the general public. What a lovely article. I have my vaccination. Did that adaptability help us to get a vaccine? How many of you have a vaccine? Think about it. From five, it takes 5 to 10 years to get something. How did we reduce it? How did we shorten the cycle? Now we have different versions of it as well. Isn't that agility? All right. Okay, we haven't done there. So to come to this, you also need to have a business strategy. A business strategy where you understanding your need, where do you want to be, and creating a bridge to move from a and what it and that will help you to create a north star, which we also call it as a vision or a purpose. It helps the direction for all the employees to see any work we do, it should be aligned to the vision of the organization. If it's not aligned, it should be binned, according to Krishna. I'm not saying bin everything in your organization because you didn't see a vision statement. Don't do that. Okay. What about customer satisfaction as a strategy? Helping the customer needs before they even know they have a need, giving them the value, the purposes. What does Amazon do for your shopping? If you're a quick shopper, what do they do? It's so annoying. During lockdown, I did some shopping stuff which I don't even need. I was one of them. Good. So, customer satisfaction as a strategy, it's an opportunity to look at what will make them happy. So, for every feature we are delivering, understanding how the customer behavior is, getting that data back and seeing by using this data, how can we replan some of the features or the functionality which we want to give it to the business? Okay, so customer strategy. What about the employee happiness as a strategy? We we have data. The great employee engagement delivers amazing products. Amazing products delight the customers. So how do you create happy teams? So to create those happy teams, how do you make them every individual in the team successful? By making them successful, how can we make the team successful? Look at this. For that, you need to facilitate. Using the organization strategy, can we create a team purpose? Can we create a plan to achieve awesomeness? Good. And how do you measure awesomeness? For that, you need to balance your metrics as it drives behaviors. So, what about the financials? What is the cycle time? How is the customer journey? What is the NPS? What is the employee satisfaction score? The team satisfaction, the business processes? What is the cycle time, throughput? How quickly we delivering? So, these are some of the things. Wow. I know I've given you a baptism of why we need business agility. What do we do in business agility? It comes down to one big question. One big question. What skills do you need to be that enterprise leader or a change agent? So, on that note, I'm going to hand over to my colleague and a brother from a different mother, Colonel Ranjiv K. Babu. Colonel,
Thanks,
Colonel,
Krishna. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you can hear me now, right? Okay, thanks, Krishna. That was great. I've been following you, and one thing, Krishna, is that you called me into this panel based on my military experience. So that's where I'm going to take the context from, not leaving my experiences in as an agile coach to one side. Because why I'm specifically talking from my military background is because I've been trained to thrive in a VUCA environment, Krishna. And for the past 1.5 years, we are actually, you know, I'm actually seeing that happening right now. There's an imminent threat. The threat is apparent, and it's a battle zone out there. If you understand what I'm saying, and therefore, what I would like to, just ask the participants to just think about it, right? I don't expect you all to, be military, thinkers, because okay, people say that it's all about the training, but to understand in the given circumstances, three things that I just want to bring out. Okay, our ability to make rapid decisions. How good are we? Okay, are we always waiting to make the right decision, the perfect decision, or is it more important in the given times to make a decision and followed by the action, the consequences of what you're going to deal with, right? And that's what is rapid decision making. That's what I've been trained, and I've been always been doing in my life. Okay, the second thing is we understand the meaning of psychological safety, Krishna. But psychological safety is just not a word. Okay, you need to understand it in action. How does it look like? Do your teams, are they ready to take interpersonal risk? Is Krishna able to take a risk for Ranjiv, and Ranjiv say, Krishna, go ahead, you take the risk, I'm with you? Do you have that kind of psychology existing in your teams? And the third is our ability to celebrate failure. Again, it's the word is celebrating failure. And why do we say celebrating failure? That is because if you want to innovate, Krishna, if you want to thrive in a VUCA environment, you need to get used to failing. Okay, and if you want to fail, you need to celebrate that, so that, yeah, we did the best we could, we failed, now let's get better, let's move on. So I just would like to leave this with the team. These are the three things which I come from my military background, which I was trained in. But given the circumstances we are and the future we are looking into, I would leave it with these three issues. Okay, rapid decision making, our ability for the team to take interpersonal risks, and do we have a culture to celebrate failure? Because I go back to that cliched theme, Krishna. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. You spoke about business strategy, right? At the enterprise level, it's all about the culture. And who creates cultures? Human beings create culture. You know, leaders shape culture. So I'll just leave it there, Krishna. Yeah, thanks. You're muted. You're muted.
Man, that's you're on mute is the one word, one sentence which is being used all over the world. Okay, good. Ranjiv, thank you very much. So we spoke about making decisions, taking actions. There are so many things like bringing change in structure, being a facilitator, being a mentor, being a coach, being a trainer. You have multiple roles which you need to do to support the team for them to be successful. If you don't have the skills, it's okay. Find somebody who can bring those skills to them.
Absolutely.
So where does this magic happens? Out of curiosity, how much time do you spend right now in meetings? Type in the chat window, please. So we got 50%, almost 5 hours, and 100%. Jesus Christ. 3 hours at least. We got 30. Wow. We got some mix. We got some mix. Pre-COVID, there was an amazing book, amazing article I've read, and a book as well. Pre-COVID, it was 30%. Some of the time, we spend 30% of the time in meetings. And during COVID and the new way of working, you've seen the data for yourself. So where do decisions happen while you're working virtually? Where do they happen? In meetings? In those 3 to 4 hours? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Brilliant. Where do conflicts happen? Where does change happens? All the activities which you're doing, let me share my screen. All the activities which we are doing, the things which we spoke about, bringing change, training, facilitating, is happening virtually. Being face to face, communicating, and even face to face, we have a misunderstanding. We misunderstand each other. We misunderstand each other's intent because everybody is concentrating on their own needs. Of course, when it comes to trying to solve a problem, sometimes we dispute on the approaches on delivering a problem, and sometimes they are egos. Nah, my way or my way, my way or my way. These things happen, and in those meetings, some hate them, some even despise them, and there are various other reasons. There are various other reasons. And while you are doing, when you're trying to build this business agility, and these are all happening virtually in your long hour meetings, and these are some of the problems you're trying to solve in those meetings as well. Have a look at them. Type the one which resonates with you in the chat window. Type the one which resonates with you. There's a lack of transparencies, tools that automate process and organization complexity, because we have made it so complex and we even automated them. There's a lack of trust, inappropriate measures, people getting prosecuted for trying something new to help the team to get better, significant overhead of functions, too many approvals, the processes, and when you have too many processes, things will gradually go slow. Things will gradually grow slow. Low employee engagement. Right now, with COVID, have you met people? Have you met people or employees or colleagues where some of the family members were sick and some of them are coming to work? So with that, what's happening with this colleague, with all the amount of pressure and the amount of negativity that they are seeing from news channels, all the data coming from, and family going through the challenges and coming and staying in front of the team. Let's be high performing teams. Will that magic work? So, what kind of skills do you need to be that person for your team member when you need them? How about yourself? Are you going through the same challenges? Sometimes I've seen people being locked up in the name of with the restrictions, travel restrictions, and everything. People have been separated and locked up for 18 months. They've been having PTSD, mental stress. So, with all those things, can we function amazingly? On top of that, we have to deliver change. Think about it. As a change agent, what are the things you need to have? All right. So these are common problems that are slowing change. And there are other reasons. Okay, we understand this change, we come up with some solutions, we mitigate, we create a strategy, and change do fails. Have a look at these issues. Tell me what are the reasons you've seen a change fail in your organization? Type it in the chat window, please. Poor change management, lack of agility, even the strategy itself that is so strict. We made an agile transformation strategy for 5 years. It's been chiseled, and we made all the agile coaches draw blood and we signed a contract. Really? Because all the time, most of the time, we are always thinking, of course, we need to think about the now. We are reacting. How do we be more proactive? How do we more proactive where we can build that business agility in the organization, in your teams? For that, there's a lady called Lisa Adkins. She wrote an amazing book called Coaching Agile Teams. She has created a framework, and I love it. And I think it's brilliant start. And this framework is not complete according to Krishna. And it's a great start. If you're starting your journey, I love this personally. I would start from here. This is me, but it's not complete. There are much more advanced skills you need to think about. For you to bring change, you need to understand what are the processes out there, what are the practices out there that will help bring change to the mindset and behaviors. Because repetition creates habits and habits create mastery. For you to create a habit of openness and trust, courage, and respect as a behavioral habit change. What do you need to do? There are some practices called retrospective. It's a reflective learning. It's a reflective learning. That's a practice you can use. And how do you eliminate waste in every single thing you do? Can you use value stream to map the process to identify ways to improve the business process and reduce the cycle time? Yes, you can do. You've been doing it day in and day out. If you want to call yourself an agile lean practitioner, according to Krishna, you need to have at least two or three frameworks under your belt in such a way that you should be able to train somebody. Okay, you've been practicing it. So when you have your new team members in your organization, it can be your teams of 5 to 10 people or your business units who you are working with. You need to teach them some tools, some frameworks. You need to educate them on why do we need to have this change now. So you're teaching them, you're training them, you're providing them knowledge. So when they are providing them the knowledge, now they're trying, they're building the ability. So when you're building the skill slowly, where you're switching into a mentoring mode, you're providing experiences. In my past, I have done this, it worked for me. With this information, what are your thoughts on it? Giving some examples what might have worked, what might not do, as a subject matter expert, where you're not forcing or influence, where you're not forcing the idea to say, do it, do my way. You're not doing that. You're giving them options. So that's the content wise. When it comes to the right hand side, you got the process wise. Being a coach, understanding what is the helping the person to come up with their own strategy to solve their problems. For this, you will be asking powerful questions, listening, providing observations. And we also have facilitator. As a facilitator at the team level, you might be creating a team strategy or be facilitating a team purpose. At the enterprise level, you will be bringing your CEO, your board of directors, bringing them together to create an enterprise strategy. That's a facilitation role you do. Okay, so these are some of the things you do. For an agile coach, the top 5 things is must and should, and one technique, one mastery. One mastery. For an enterprise coach, what do you need? Let's look at technical mastery. Technical mastery is being a subject matter expert in a particular domain. Having that kind of a mindset, having the technical mindset to see how we can use technology to solve some of the existing problems. For that, I need to be technology savvy to bring that thoughts, options, and be aware of what is happening in the current markets as well. That's something about technical mastery. Business mastery. How do you look beyond the curve? And how do you help organizations to pivot? If there's an iceberg coming, if you see it, you can pivot it. If you didn't see it, how can you adapt at that moment of time? Because do remember, there's a data which I've shared with you. From 2000, 52% of the companies disappeared from the FTSE 100. Okay, we understand about business mastery. Now we are trying to bring change, helping the organization to pivot. How do you bring change? In the name of agile or in the name of donkey? Forget agile. In the name of donkey, let's do some change. Can you make change overnight? Type it in the chat window. Can you bring change overnight? Yes or no? Should be fine. Good. So we all know we can't change overnight. Can't bring change overnight. So when you're like to bring change, first thing a person would ask, what is in it for me? Okay, there is a change. I'm listening to you. What is in it for me? Good. I understand there is something in for me. So, what do I need to do? Do I need to have the knowledge? Will I lose my job? What are the hopes and fears? Ask yourself. When you had, if some of you worked in the waterfall and you had to change to agile, if some of you had to have some sort of a change, it can be having a baby born in your family, or death in the family, or some sort of a change. Isn't it a big emotional jolt? So you got the Kubler-Ross model as well to understand the emotions of change. That's what humans do. Okay, from the organization point of view, what are the things we can do to bring the people to get their buy-in into the change? For that, as an organization, you need to bring the awareness. Why do we need to bring the change now? And if it's going, this change is going to happen, how your life is going to be in the future? How is it going to be for our customers? How our business processes are going to be? Giving them the awareness, the assurance, how is it going to help them? Okay, you brought the awareness, you did a marketing campaign, how sexy and amazing this transformation is going to look like. Yes, done. That's the awareness. Now, the important part is the desire. You need to, you, they heard you, but they need to be part of the journey. What will make them step into the journey? That means addressing their needs, what is in it for them, and mapping it to their organization. You're reaching out to the inner desire. That's what you are doing at the transformation level. So you brought in, so you did the awareness, you got the desire, you, everybody is bought in. Now you provide them the knowledge of using the tools or the process. It can be Scrum, Kanban, design thinking, value stream. These, you provide the knowledge. Once you provide the knowledge, they are trying, you're building the ability, and you're reinforcing the work you're doing. So this is at the transformation. There are different kinds of tools you can use. You can use Adka, Quarters, Accelerate. There are various change tools that will help you. Okay, so these are some of the things you do at the team level, business unit, and the enterprise level as well, depending on the need you know. The question I have for you is, you don't need to shout out or type your answers. This is for yourself to think about it. Where are you currently working? Your current state. Make a note, a mental note. Where are you spending most of the time? Is it in Agile Lane practitioner, as a trainer, mentor, coach, facilitating? Where are you spending your time? Okay, somebody said this is Zoom. They're spending the time in Zoom. Okay, I like that too. I'm talking with respect to the picture which I'm sharing in front of you. Sorry, that was a good one. I liked it. Um, you made my day, Krishna. I love it. And the other question I have is, where do you want to be in the future? What role do you want to see yourself play? Do you want to work at the team level? Okay, you got the team coaching skills. Good. Having the knowledge, and how do you get the practice? That's one thing. What about the business unit? How can I map the business processes end to end? So, how do this data from all the business units work at the enterprise level? So, where do you want to be? That's a question you need to ask yourself. And what role you want to play. Okay, current state, future state. And here the question is, what skills do you need to bring those two worlds together? This is your future I'm talking about. What do you need? Ask yourself that question. I want you to sleep over it. You don't need to make decisions for me or for yourself or to your company or no one. It's for yourself. And I have a couple of tips for you. So when you're looking at the core skills, whether you're a facilitator or training or coaching, or mentoring or an agile lean practitioner, you need to know to listen. When you're listening, you need to understand the customer problems, your employees, your teams, or your organization. Start listening. God has given you 2 ears, one mouth, and within the 6 inches of your ears, there is magic which happens. You need to do something about it. Give him the tools. Listening, okay? That's one thing. And the next one, asking questions. Powerful questions. Questions which give perspectives. You can ask questions where you can tease information, data. They will tell you what they know. There is also a type of question you can make a person think. So, what is the right type of question which will help your teams to explore and get better in everything you do? Underneath everything, if you want to find out what exactly is happening in your organization, you need to seek the truth. Or if you want to hide away from the truth as well, you need to dig. That's what some pets do. You want to seek or bury something, you dig. And for that, I have a question for you all. Are you having your mind full or mindful? So, Ranjiv, I would like to hand over this because you had some interesting one to share here.
Okay, unmuting myself. Thanks, Krishna. So I just wanted to bring out this point, Krishna. We were having this chat the other day that, you know, to talk about this, whether your mind is full or you want to be mindful, it's the utility of a simple cup, the cup in which we have a tea, right? The utility of a cup is defined when the cup is empty, not when it's full. Okay, when it's full, there's nothing else that you can do with it. It's full. Okay, for that moment, that's what it is. But when it's empty, you can do any, you can put anything into that cup. So I would say, this is from my experience, that you need to be mindful of the fact that, are you emptying yourself, are you discharging yourself from all the thoughts that as human beings we tend to absorb, Krishna, because at the end of the day, we're not saints, we're not gods, we are human beings, okay, interacting in a human world. So do we have the capacity to discharge, empty ourselves periodically? So that's the question that I would leave, Krishna, with you. Yeah. So if full, yeah, Toby, if full, you drink, but then that's exactly, you drink, you enjoy it, and now it's empty again, right? So, or do you just want to keep that cup empty and have many cups which are full? And neither are you drinking, and neither can the cups do anything right now. And they're just full cups that you have in front of you. So I'll leave that thought. Yeah.
I'm learning, Ranjiv, to unmute myself. So I will take a couple of minutes to answer. Me and Ranji will take a couple of minutes to answer your Q&A, because we'll take 5 minutes. When I say couple, I'll take 5 to 10 minutes. I got some tips to move forward from here. What's next from here for you? So let's see some Q&A, thoughts, questions.
Yes, Raghavi, empty yourselves often. Very, very true.
Or even observations. You can type in your thoughts, questions, or observations. That's a really good one. Which scale agile framework you recommend? Scrum of Scrum or Safe or something else? Short answer, none. Short answer, none. Krishna personally does not recommend any frameworks. For me, when I work with organizations, I work with various organizations, anything between 350,000 people to 650,000 people. We have worked delivering transformation strategies in both of them, in various departments or a mission critical projects as well. When you talk about frameworks, framework is more or less like a model I used to build when I was playing with paper helicopters and aeroplanes. They are there on the ground, they do not fly. To make the frameworks fly, these models fly, again, understand the customer needs. What is the problem you're trying to solve? If it's an operations, I've seen organizations, they use Kanban as a framework to deliver operations projects. Great, it works. It works. Scrum is also used for product and services organizations. It works. And I've seen organizations like a Montessori, where they have children, tiny babies, tiny children, they use Scrumban. It works. And there are various organizations, um, even the military, and some of the high risk organizations, even NASA and some organizations, they come up with their own frameworks, which is fit for purpose. How do they do that? How do they do that? For me, I can use two metaphors. Uh, One is I love cooking. When I'm cooking for the first time, when I'm creating a dish, it's always measuring. It's like 10 grams, 5 grams. You measure to a grain and you do it. After years of practice, do I use measure again? Nah. Take it, mix it with my hand. I sprinkle it. I don't even measure how many grams. They are where I'm experimenting with the different ingredients. And for that, I need to understand the basics about what are the different frameworks out there. What are the different tools which will help us solve different problems? There are different practices. So, if you want to build a framework, it should evolve with the organizations. If you see the coral reefs, the structure of the coral reefs, how they evolve around the environment, the salinity, the currents. They evolve. There are millions, billions of organisms which live on the coral reefs. That's the structure. The underlying intent of this framework is to deliver value quickly. So, what framework is fit for purpose? Experiment and work with them. Start with something small and see how it works and investigate. And if you see one of your competitor or a person or a similar organization, similar structures and everything, if something's working, copy and try it and see if it works. But do something. That's one thing. Okay. Let me look at some other questions. There is, I will take one question. And Ranjiv, there is one question which is interesting here. You can take it. Is there an end to transformation?
And let me answer that. Okay, transformation is like climbing Mount Everest. Okay, that's a great mountain to climb. Everest is something that you keep climbing because each time you want to, you can have a vision and you can have an end state, but the moment you reach the end state, you'll realize that there is something else. It's like the horizon on the sea. Okay, it's apparent, but when you reach there, there is something else. And personally, I feel because I've been in the journey myself, there is no end to it. It's just a journey, and each time you reach a particular waypoint, you get something from it, right? And you add value, like what Krishna has been saying. You reflect, and then you realize how much more there is in this world to know. So for me, transformation is a very humbling journey. It humbles you. Okay, and the more humility that it presents you with, it's more that I want to know, and that is when, again, it's the next horizon that you go to. It's the next waypoint, and that's what it is all about. That's my answer, Ajay, to Ajay and to Krishna.
Thank you very much, Ranjiv. I cannot agree more. what my colleague Ranjiv was talking about. There's a nice movie as well. It's called Peaceful Warrior. It's on YouTube. You can watch it with your family. It's a great movie, a true story. I'm not. I don't get any affiliations for that movie, but I love it. That's a good metaphor to use that movie. All right, there is. Let me look at one more question. How to start with the enterprise coaching? Is there a kind of a plan we can develop like 30, 60, 90 days, etc.? Coelia, Ghost Roy, answer is yes. Answer is yes. When you're working as an enterprise at the enterprise level, there is always a need why you want to bring change in. When you're trying to bring change in, if the change happens, if you completed the change, what would success look like? You should get some objectives, some success criteria. And how do you measure that success as well once this change happens? Good. To deliver that change, what do we need to achieve in 30, 60, 90 days? That's a strategy you can create. I, I actually teach this in one of my enterprise coaching class, which I'm delivering next. Can't remember if it's next week or the week after. Chitra, help. I'll be teaching that. If you're interested, you can come and join me. I'll be more than happy to spend more time in that class. How to deliver strategies. Okay.
Uh,
So, in your perspective, sorry, Ranjiv.
yeah, Krishna, there was one question which has come together. Could you provide some examples or reference for OKRs? It had Alsha had asked it before also, and he's repeated again. So in the
Okay.
second,
So, Harsha, I would love to talk about OKRs. There is a lovely article with an example which we've been worked with an organization. Please download it on LinkedIn. It's on our website as well. It's an article which we published everything about OKRs, how to create OKRs, and an example of OKRs as well at the organization level. It has that question will be answered for you. It's a form of a lovely article written by one of our amazing coaches. Thank you, Ranjiv. In your perspective, are organizations giving more value for creating tools rather than transforming people? Wow. Wow, what a powerful question. Are they giving more value for creating tools rather than transforming? I don't know about other organizations, but all the organizations I have worked in the last 2.5 decades is one reason. It's called economic value. Economic value, bank balance in your account. That's what they're interested in. So, to deliver the economic value, you either reduce the cost of delivery, okay? Reduce the cost of delivery to market or make it faster. That's one thing you can do, which you can control, right? And the other thing which you can do is do something to get more customers and more money into the pipeline. To achieve that, organizations, they are investing in their employees to train the new ways of working. So they are investing in coaches, bringing coaches in. Yes, we do train a lot of enterprise coaches, me, Ranji, various people. We do train them. And we also help organizations, leadership to bring change in. So when it comes to driving more value, if it's an what I'm observed, if I've observed, no, I did not observe that. To drive more value, people need to understand why and what is in it for me. And second thing, that's the mindset. Second thing is to achieve the value, you need to give them the knowledge and the tools, mindset and ways of working. They both have to go hand in hand. Having just the mindset does not work. Let me think about my positive mindset. I'm a very positive person. Krishna loves being positive. So is Ranjiv. So one day, Ranjiv said, Krishna, let's go into our garden and check our garden out. We both positive people walked into the garden. And guess what we did? We saw some weed. So, Ranjiv, let's do one thing. Close our eyes and say, there is no weed, there is no weed, there is no weed, there is no weed. Give it a month. What would happen, Ranjiv?
yeah, what you don't want, what you resist persists, Krishna.
So think about it. Just having the mindset doesn't do it, doesn't give you the credit. You need the tools, actions to remove that weed. Good. Let me give you one more tip. I would love to answer all your questions. Due to time constraints, I cannot. Drop a note to hello at Leadership Tribe or reach out to us on LinkedIn directly. We got some amazing coaches and consultants who they can help you or answer your questions. Okay,
So,
let me
Krishna, there's
share.
just one interesting one
Okay.
because Debopom has asked me. I believe data isn't about numbers, value, experience, or also data. What are your insights? I'll just take 30 seconds to answer this
Okay.
question. Okay, being from the military perspective, Debopom, you're very right. But we also are mindful that as officers, as someone, as the decision makers, we also need to know that intuition has a limitation. Okay, your intuition comes from your belief sets, your view of the world. So it's always good to have your intuition, which comes from hard training and the reliance on data, because you need to understand that the data needs to be, truthful. There should be some evidence in how the data was collected. So it's a fine balance from your intuition as a decision maker and the data. So you need to, it's all by trial and error. Failure again is a wonderful teacher. You get to learn as you go about doing, taking an action from both intuition and data. So that's what I would like to just answer, because this is something that we have experienced personally. It's not all about data, it's not all about intuition. You need to find a fine match. Thanks.
That's perfect, Ranjiv. Thank you very much. Okay, I got a small gift for you. Let me share that. We spoke about if you're mindful or mindful. The next thing, if you want to be successful or you want to be the best enterprise coach or the best leader or the best agile leader, whatever title, put a bracket, put a name in there. You want to achieve the Olympics of that title, there is a simple formula. There's a very simple formula. If you want to look at it, you need to come closer to your screens. There you go. It's the function of your knowledge and your amount of practice you do with that knowledge to help you build the talent. To help you build the talent. For that, look at the skills you need. What are the knowledge? How can you teach? What are the skills I can learn to teach people with the knowledge sticks? How can I create a facilitation in such a way that people who are going kaboom are able to resolve the conflicts? When was the last time you seen passionate people agree on anything? Type it in the chat window. When was the last time you seen passionate people agree on everything? Just like that. Type it in the chat window. So when passionate people, when they don't agree, is it conflict? Is it bad? No. They're talking about a problem. It's not about the people. They're talking about the problem. How do we resolve the problem? And for that, they use different tonality. Sometimes it can, when the emotions go too hard, it goes kaboom. It can also happen when you're doing that. So for that, you need to have your people and influential skills, your mindset and behavior as a what is my mindset as a facilitator? What is my mindset as a coach? What is my mindset as a mentor? What is my mindset as an enterprise coach? Yes, there are different kinds of mindsets. It's a balance, it's a dance. Yes, it's called handling work life balance. It is sometimes challenging. But the funny thing is, if you're seeing Olympics right now, these Olympians, is it the first time they have done the act, what you're seeing on your TV? They've been practicing it, practicing it, practicing it, practicing it. They built mastery. They built mastery. So if you want to win the Olympics of your career, there is a quick win. Get yourself a coach or a trainer, get those skills. Of course, I do agree. Leadership Tribe does a lot of trainings. I am training next week and the week after on enterprise coaching and coaching agile teams. And the one after that, we got Agile Coaching Bootcamp as well. There are many various training programs out there. Go down, spend some time, learn, do something about it. Does practice make perfect? I do not know. Do it and please tell me if does it make it perfect. Maybe, but do it. The most of the time we spend talking. So there are different career paths for these leaders to help them in their journey. Because you got the team level, you got the business unit, you got the enterprise level. What you're doing at the team level in an it's a similar work you'll be doing at the enterprise level, but at the bigger scale. How? So where you're building the structures, the people, the culture, the technology, what you're using, you're looking at it from, if you're working at an organization with 650,000 people, you're looking with those eyes. That's the way you need to look. Your awareness need to grow. So before we call it a day, Ranjiv, I just want to thank you for spending this evening with me.
It's always a pleasure, Krishna. Always a pleasure. And thank you. I see some amazing questions. Some of the questions we couldn't answer, but Krishna, let's be mindful in answering them.
Yeah.
Subsequently after the webinar is over, I'm sure we would like to keep in touch with people. Thanks, Krishna. Thanks for calling me over. And I would like to thank my lovely participants for listening to my views and giving me the space just to make this conversation more meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ranjiv. Lovely. Have a great weekend and speak to you all. Bye bye.
Thank you.